6 king 4, 2 pair for Perkins and Hellmuth.
This should get awesome.
Sometimes donkeys get lucky.
The cannon, pocket jacks.
Let's see if he fares better than Antonio did.
Russ raises to 1,400. Antonio folds. Pocket pair for Tony G. Calls. Ike, suited in the small blind, folds. Jason Mercier, 6-5.
Jason's out of position with a hand that's likely to be behind, but he looks like he wants to play a pot with the loose cannon, maybe.
Yes, he does. 3 to the flop, which is deuce 4-3. Tony G flops middle set. Mercier flops the nuts straight and checks.
What a flop. Everyone probably thinks they have the best hand, including Russ, who has an overpair to the board.
He bets 4,000.
Russ is playing it right, but it's going to cost him.
Tony G raises to 12,000.
Jason has got to be licking his chops. Not only does he have the nuts, but there aren't even any bigger draws out there. He has to figure out if either opponent's hand is strong enough to call a raise. We know Tony's is. He doesn't want to chase away all his customers, but a flat call would look pretty strong, too.
One thing we're lacking is action.
Mercier re-raises to 29 grand.
While the way the action has gone says this is an easy laydown, it's still never all that easy to lay down an overpair, especially as an amateur and you're assuming everyone's out to run you over. But right now, his pocket pair is jacked.
Literally. The amateur begrudgingly folds. And now Tony G. Middle set, facing a re-raise. Tony puts them all in.
Oh.
Quick call from Jason.
Like a nerd with a hot chick's phone number, Mercier calls immediately.
Wow, what a flop.
Tony G would like to call this date off.
I just run it once.
They're going to run it once.
Nearly 250 grand in the middle.
Better for the TV viewer.
Good luck, boys.
Tony will need the board to pair.
It doesn't on the turn. 8 of spades.
I want to feel his heart rate, Jason.
Feel mine.
Yours, we're not, whatever, Yours is gonna ding, ding, ding. His is like ding, ding. Close your eyes, kid. You'll know by the reaction.
The river. The 6 of clubs. And Jason Mercier doubles up to 237 grand.
2 flops and been all in both times.
5 limpers. Ace jack for Fishman.
Just so long as you get all the money in with the worst of it.
Pot.
Be happy.
Oh, the cannon gets everybody's attention.
Fishman's almost got the best hand.
Man, you haven't played a hand since the Eisenhower administration. All of a sudden, you bet in the pot. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. Respect.
I agree. Respect.
No respect.
Williams shows no respect. He calls. Locks in 2. Same for Kata.
Wow, this is so sick. This is so sick.
The rest of these pros are giving Fishman about as much respect as Rodney Dangerfield.
Fold.
This is very dramatic.
I'm dramatic because you'll see, everything will make sense later to you.
At least it gives you credit.
Because I limped in with a huge hand because I'm running bad. Now I'm thinking about re-raising. That's what's going on.
I know what you're thinking. You're just thinking about it a long time.
I'm supposed to put the money in, but I'm not going to.
Phil folds.
Finally.
I'm gonna check in the dark.
Cannon's checked in the dark. It's an interesting move from an amateur.
The flop. Ace, deuce, 5, 3 diamonds. Cata flops a straight. Fishman, who checked in the dark, has top pair and a flush draw. Williams a set.
Things are about to get real in here.
Williams bets 12,000.
Williams just bet 3/4 pot with a very strong hand, but it's not the best one.
Laak folds.
It's not as good as Cata's, who's got a straight.
He just calls.
Lights, camera, action, flop. Everybody's got something.
How much you got behind?
Fishman's got top pair and a big flush draw.
48 more
48,000.
behind this, 60 total.
You got you put in for an extra 50, right? So,
This is a really tough spot for the cannon. Either a call or a fold would be acceptable.
He calls
check in the dark.
and checks in the dark again. King of hearts on the turn.
I'm all in.
David Williams shoves.
The only thing Cata's behind to right now is a flopped flush. We know David's only got a set. Having a straight puts you in a tough spot here because you cannot improve. If Cata's behind to Williams, he's drawing dead. And if he's ahead, David Williams is likely to have a lot of outs. Cata's getting about 2-1 on his money, which is decent odds. Joe Straight was beaten by Phil's flush just a few hands ago. Let's see if he can make the right call here.
Sorry, guys.
Fishman still to act behind.
And Cata lays down a straight.
Man, I want to know what you laid down. That might make a difference.
That was a brutal spot for the kid.
If either of you guys want to ask each other a question, I have one for you for the next time.
Ace queen with the diamond queen.
This should be a much easier laydown for Fishman.
I'm gonna give it up.
Fishman folds.
I don't want to see that.
I would pay money to see that hand.
How much would you pay?
I'll pay $500 to see that hand.
You will pay $500 to see this hand.
Right now.
Send the money.
I would have busted you.
He'll pay 5,000 not to see it.
Wow.
Ship the 500.
Well, David Williams is nearly back to even, thanks to the $500 bonus.
I had the best hand. I had the best hand.
But D-Dubs got all the money.
Thank you.
Hellmuth,
No, you started it with me.
6-4 suited,
And I'm gonna finish it.
calls. Fishman, king 8,
What
out.
are we, kids in high school? Relax.
Perkins calls. Williams, he's in. Laak calls.
Maybe when these two are in the middle of a pot and you keep piping up and they're studying each other, maybe that's when you shouldn't be talking.
Cata checks, making it a 5-way flop. 6, king 4, 2 pair for Perkins and Hellmuth.
Perkins is best. This should get awesome.
I just want to tell you, the first time, just so you know, he asked me what was the question. So he spoke to me.
Okay, well then that's fair.
Okay.
Wasn't fair to me, though. I didn't want him to say anything.
Action checks to Phil. Fires 2,600.
Was it wrong for me to talk to him during the hand when he wasn't out?
Kinda, actually, when two people were in a pot, for one guy in the pot to talk to someone else.
Is it really? Okay.
Perkins raises to 10,000.
Who gets quiet all of a sudden when he flops huge.
Action folds back to Phil.
We know Phil's beat, but typically he should 3-bet here with bottom 2 against Perkins' range.
Nope, just calls.
A master trapper at work.
The turn, the 8 of diamonds. Hellmuth bets 15 grand.
Perkins still way out in front. Now he's the one trapping.
Just calls. Off to the river. The ace of diamonds. Hellmuth bets 15,000. Perkins
Oh, I'm f***ing dead. Excuse me, French.
calls.
I just flopped 2 pair.
I have 2 pair. King 6.
Perkins probably could have gotten in a raise there.
The businessman.
I flopped 2 pair also.
Dun-dun-dun. Somebody give me some 70s
What kind of
music.
car does the businessman drive back in the 70s?
I don't know. Jeez. Sometimes donkeys get lucky.
But you'd be popular in prison, I think. Shut up.
I'm just saying, you know, because you're such a bubbly personality.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'd be popular in prison too, Danny.
It's because it's just your bubbly personality.
I mean,
I'll tell you what, I'd have, if I was in prison, I already thought I would have people on my payroll. I promise you that.
I got a question for you.
Tony G in the straddle.
How much would you pay
Yes.
not to go?
To prison? Every single penny that I have and every penny that I could make for the next 10 years, I would pay.
For how
Right,
long?
it's a year.
I wouldn't go to jail for 6 months.
Right, I mean, I can't think of a...
He would never make it.
I would do fine, okay?
No.
Viffer raises with suited connectors.
I have money and I can get coffee, I can trade cigarettes, I can do all that stuff.
But you're a brat.
I'm a brat.
You need a lot of things.
In jail, I might be quiet. I'd be like, is this vegan?
I'm just gonna let that sit. So Viffer raised. Ace Jack for the cannon.
I need 3 vegan meals a day in prison.
I'm sure the vegan meals and the highlights will really win over the cellmates. Gonzo calls over to Sura. Couple of jacks. He should be able to play this one. Call or a re-raise would be fine.
Yeah, he's playing.
And he calls.
Look at this pot. I mean, this is tremendous.
Daniel folds.
I hope I have a qualifying hand.
I didn't need much to have a qualifying hand.
Seaver folds. Ace, queen of diamonds for Tony G. Certainly qualifying. Calls.
I have a huge hand. But I'm forced to play. Like, I have to respect Viffer. What do you have behind you there?
Not much. I'm waiting.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
4 players to the flop. 6-8-8, and the Whiffer didn't whiff this time. Whiffer flops trippers. Tony G with the nut flush draw. He checks. Viffer's pretty short going into this hand. 7,000. But Viffer's in a great spot since he was the pre-flop aggressor and he connected with this board so huge. Cannon's out. Bobby Sura could be in trouble since 2 jacks will be the best hand often enough on this board. Then again, he never really was known for his J's.
He's singing now because he's winning.
And he calls 7,000. Tony G probably can't fold. It's pretty tough to give Viffer credit for a hand, and he's unlikely to be drawing dead, though he may be concerned with what got Bobby Sura to open the purse strings. If the board weren't paired, this would probably be an auto check raise.
What a hand. What do you have there?
Little over 28.
He's got no orange chips there.
You took them all.
30, so it's like 36.
Didn't you hear Stapes? It's a little over 28.
Bobby Sura. What are you doing there in that hand? Quietly just calling?
Good question. I've been trying to figure it out myself.
He's got like 2 9s.
Basically.
You're too good at this game.
All right, I'm gonna drop it. This is a big laydown.
What are you doing here? I don't think I can condone this
You
plan.
could never imagine, but don't ever tell anyone.
Yeah. You're
Tony
folding?
G has Scott fold for him. Tony G makes a pretty tight laydown. We're going to have to pull his Maniac card. To the turn. 9 of hearts.
2 9s, I knew it.
You killed my action.
I'm all in.
Viffer's all in for over 28,000.
Oh, should have re-raised before the flop.
Smells like someone has
28-1.
jacks.
You got it.
Someone has jacks, I think.
Now, Bobby's getting less than 2 to 1, and it's possible Viffer would do this with a draw, but he knows Bobby's been playing tighter than an Ed Hardy t-shirt.
Jack's good.
If Sura does call, Viffer will almost certainly double up.
I hate to see this one on TV, too.
Dylan, muck that hand.
Sura makes a good laydown. In this case, tight is right.
We're gonna see it real soon, anyways.
Show us one card.
Do you want to see?
Sure. We're going to see it.
Here's what I'll tell you. I'll tell you the truth. You're either way ahead or way behind.
Not way ahead. How can jacks ever be way ahead?
He could be way ahead or way behind.
Your verbiage was definitely inaccurate.
All right, I'm not very educated.
English only at the table, sir.
Alan Berry straddling, so action on Reynolds. Jack 8 suited.
I'm starting a fad. And it's 2,500.
Raise. Roble.
Tony says
folds.
commendable. Little head nod. And he's starting a new fad.
It's a repop.
5,000.
7s for Lex.
And Lex says, hey, I'm gonna think about it.
Stop doing my job, Will.
Lex is tilted up, slightly tilted, slightly getting a bit whirly.
Let's get those two into the booth. I'll handle taking over Tony's stack.
Fair enough. Barry folds. Reynolds.
Forgot what I have. Okay, I closed the action.
Calls.
Close the door. At least you haven't slammed it in my face.
Not yet.
7, ace, 9. Lex flops a set.
Look at
Oh
that.
boy, this is an action flop.
Check, check, check. 10 of clubs on the turn.
That is a very dangerous card.
It brings multiple draws.
I think they covered the analysis.
Yep. Lex bets 13,000.
Lex isn't repping a draw. He's repping a made hand.
Yep. Lex is hoping to make these two pay to draw. What he doesn't know is that Will isn't drawing anymore.
He's got a straight.
You know no one has 8-jack.
Except the guy to your right.
So actually, technically, he does know someone has 8-jack.
Reynolds calls.
All right.
Tony with top pair and the nut flush draw.
A minimum I'm calling. I'm just thinking about moving in, closing the action.
Closing the action, G style.
I'm promising I'm calling, but I'm thinking about a race, okay? I am contemplating a significant improvement of this pot size.
Both these guys would love that. Will especially.
Not just the pot juicer, the whole 9.
All right, I just call. I got a nice position.
Tony calls.
I just call. Just keep it friendly.
4 of hearts on the river.
Even though this card didn't hurt him, Lex's set has officially been cracked. Let's see if he still thinks he can bet it for value. He could get himself in a whole lot of trouble if he does.
Lex bets 31-4.
Williams got the stone nuts, trying to figure out how much he wants to raise.
He just calls.
He must be trying to induce an overcall from Tony.
At least I'm not raising. I mean, 90% I'm calling. I mean, if I'm gonna lay this down, I might as well not play poker. Wow. You got to think if you guys unless Lex made a really big hand.
Williams' plan might just be coming together.
He's got chips.
Yeah, I fold.
Wow.
Set. I have the nuts. I thought Tony G would do it.
You like that 90%? I would have done it. Did you say I had a flush draw?
Mm-hmm.
Lex is sick.
He barely had over 31. I thought he would call. I was
What happened
behind.
on the turn? I didn't even see.
Bet,
They
call,
bet.
call.
I just called. I had a nut flush draw.
And top pair, man. I should have won a way bigger pot there.
I'd love to check Lex's tiltometer now.
Kickboxing is one of the few things that would be one of my least favorite things.
Well, the training towards becoming good at it is so intense, and it's so good for you.
It's good for you?
Yeah.
Get kicked in the head?
Lex just started training for a prop bet kickboxing match versus fellow poker pro Elke.
It's good for you, getting kicked in the head, right?
Driving around the country playing home games with shotguns in the back of the car doesn't really increase your life expectancy either, so.
Yeah, but he made it.
Doyle prefers to have his kicker problems on the felt.
Doyle raised to 1,600. Pocket pair for Lex. He calls.
This should be a 5-card race, but Bonomo folded a 5.
But Lex hits the case 5, giving him a set. Doyle, however, has the nut flush draw.
Oh man, this is an action flop.
Doyle fires 2,500.
Lex ain't folding and his hand is disguised, so we might even see a raise. He'll want to charge Doyle if he's got a diamond draw, which we know he does.
There's the raise to 8,200.
Lex's image is likely to get Doyle to commit some more chips. That's one of the benefits of playing so nuts. You get paid when you have them.
Doyle re-raises to 33-2.
Looks like this re-raise from Doyle has given Lex some cause for concern. Either that or he's Hollywooding. It's possible Doyle could have a bigger set, but I don't think it happens often enough that you could ever fold this. On a board like this, it's almost impossible to fold a set because it's so much more likely you're facing a draw than a bigger set.
Lex calls.
I'm not sure if Lex loves his hand. He might want to see another card and reevaluate.
That next card is an 8, giving Lex a full house.
That eliminates any diamond fears Lex might have had, and it pretty much narrows down Doyle's hand to a bluff or a set of queens. That second 8 hitting makes pocket 8s way less likely. Looks like Doyle's about to commit some more money to this pot, drawing completely dead.
Fires 75 grand.
I'm all in.
Lex is all in.
Lex doesn't even have enough to make a full raise, so all in is just about his only move.
Maybe totally dead here. 20, 25, 35 more. About 40 more. It's the first hand, right?
Doyle has painted himself into a corner here. He's 37K more for a pot of 257,000. He's pot committed, which is a scary place to be when you're drawing dead.
37?
37-2.
Brunson calls and sees the terrible news.
Got ace.
He's got it. Let him have it.
Lex wins the biggest pot of the week. They'll run the meaningless river card. Wouldn't even have made Doyle his flush.
And just like that.
Lex Veldhuis has just scooped up a massive pot of nearly $300,000